Can going grain-free help you? And is it necessary? I'm going to talk a little bit about this and what it can do for your body and exactly how to do it if you find that it's right for you. So of course, this is something that I love to talk about because it's not that easy in people's minds. They start tripping up thinking, no way, I can't go grain-free. But once I start talking about why and the benefits for some people, then yes, I'll show you how to make it easy. Going grain-free, why do we need to ditch all the grains? Do we need to ditch it? Is it for everyone? No, it's not for everyone. But also, not all grains are equal. When we talk about grains, most people think about refined grains in their breads, their pastas, their, all their little goodies and treats and cakes and cookies, right? Those are usually junk, really processed. Then we equate, hey, I eat whole wheat bread and I'm having my whole wheat pasta. How can that be bad for me? If your body has spent a long amount of time eating a large amount of grains, including those refined grains, then your gut and your body can benefit from completely clearing it out, hitting the reset button before you go back to really good organic whole grains or ancient grains, which may be a better option for you. How long does it take to get grains out of the body? Well, a general idea or rule of thumb is for an adult body, it takes 3 to 6 months to really fully see the benefits of healing once you get those grains out of your diet. So yeah, it'll process quickly out, but then the lingering effects take a while, usually 3 to 6 months for most people minimum. When I work with people one-on-one in consults, I will put them on, if it's appropriate, a 90-day grain-free diet just to hit reset. So why on earth do we need to ditch the grains? What are they doing to the body? Number one thing that they do is cause inflammation. Almost all grains, but not all grains. Gluten for sure, even if it's organic, because it's just a high inflammatory food. Gluten today is not the same as it was 70 years ago. It's much higher in gluten protein chain, and this is why the body was not meant to process that. But grains in general, especially refined grains, are going to cause a lot of problems with inflammation. The other thing is it'll cause a lot of weight gain, and especially in the belly area. This is where it'll sit. That visceral fat is hard to clear if you are indulging specifically in refined grains, but any grains at first till you clear everything and heal your body. The other thing it'll do is, of course, it's going to spike your blood sugar. And people don't realize that. But if you really look at those carbs it creates, the more refined, the more the blood sugar spike is going to be. So you want to work on trying to get that down, which means go grain-free for a bit and let's watch your whole body start to heal. Then your body can communicate with you what's happening with your blood sugar much faster, right? And of course, it causes metabolic diseases to turn on. So believe it or not, strokes and heart attacks and heart disease, along with diabetes. So diabetes we understand, because if the carbs in the grains are going to break down to sugar, that makes sense. But why is it we're being told you should eat more grains by the Heart Association if it's going to cause problems in the heart? It's the inflammation, guys. It's the inflammation. So again, not all grains are equal, but those starchier grains, the grains that are more inflammatory and hard on the body, that's when you're going to notice it a lot. So better options of grains when you clear the body of all the inflammation would be maybe ancient grains, but just so you know, that's why it causes strokes and heart disease. It's that inflammation that goes off. The other problem it causes are digestive issues. So digestive issues are huge for grains. Specifically, starchier grains that are processed, or gluten or rice, those can go in and deplete the gut flora and fauna and make it very unbalanced. When you have an unbalanced gut, guess what else that does? That now affects the brain. There's the next thing that grains can do is really cause a lot of cognitive decline, memory issues, brain fog. That's what happens. And moodiness. I have seen so many people tell me when I take them off of a grain diet and I clear them out for 90 days, number one thing they tell me they notice is their mood stabilized. And that's because you don't realize how much the gut is being depleted. And what's being depleted? Very specific nutrients. So when the gut is having issues, it will also cause leaky gut, right? And now when your body's not absorbing what it needs, you're putting in good nutrients, your body can't absorb it or use it, and then everything goes off into imbalance to the brain. So you've heard of wheat belly. We've all heard of that visceral fat caused by wheat and gluten. Well, there's also grain brain, and that is a lot of that fuzzy-headed stuff. So these are some of the problems that grains can cause in the body. And so what I recommend is 90 days to go grain-free for the reset. Then at the end of 90 days, you can slowly start adding back in ancient grains and do it one grain at a time. Let's see how your body responds. Make sure it's organic and whole. So quinoa, that's a great one. Teff, millet, these are all ancient grains that are way better to work with. Amaranth, you can even work with some of the other things that you wouldn't think of, like chia seeds. Those are grain free, but you can start working these back into the diet one at a time after 90 days reset. See how the body and the brain acts. When you do that, do it 1 week at a time. 1 week quinoa, how we doing? Got it, my body's reacting fine, move on to the next. Let's do amaranth, right? And move on. That's how you want to add them back in. So if we're going 90 days without grains, what are you going to eat? This is my favorite thing to do, is to help you learn substitutions, right? Because it is never about deprivation, it's about substitution. So let's talk about sandwiches. How are you going to make sandwiches if you don't have any grains? I have lots of ideas for you. My first favorite thing to do for sandwiches is just take a giant romaine lettuce leaf and put my entire sandwich right in there and do it like a lettuce wrap. The other thing you can do are take big leafy greens. This is collard greens. I really prefer collard greens when I make my sandwiches or my wraps because they're really hardy. The leaves can handle a lot and they'll hold sauces and drippy things really well. They fold, they're also big. Some of them can be really big, but I'll also use kale and chard as well. These are great options for your sandwich without bread. The other thing I like to do is you can also slice up some zucchinis that are a little bit larger and do strips as finger sandwiches. Really thin strips will work for sandwiches. Here's an idea your kids might like. This is a smaller apple, but I usually get a larger Honeycrisp apple and I cut them really thin and then I use that as bread and I put on there, I don't use peanut butter, but I'll use cashew butter, sun nut butter, and I make sandwiches. Now you don't need any jelly because your apple has done that for you. You have the sugar and that's your PB&J that has no sugar, no grains, tastes amazing, way better for you. Instead of crashing, you're gonna feel a little boost of energy. I've also done that with pears that are really big. Asian pears are amazing to slice thin and use that way. So those are some other ideas that I love working for sandwich bread. But what about buns, right? Oh my gosh, what am I gonna eat my hamburger on if I have no bun? Use a giant portobello mushroom. I love taking portobello mushrooms. I just take the stem off. On the other side, I scoop out all the gills that look kind of weird. Brush it with a little bit of olive oil. Put it in the oven, maybe 20 minutes at 350. It's gonna be nice and soft and spongy when it comes out, and you use that as bread for your any kind of bun or sandwich or hot meals. I had a guy who thanked me greatly. He was having problems with some gut issues, so we took him off grains, and I told him about the portobello thing, and he said now it's his favorite dish to make his famous pulled pork and put it on his portobello mushroom bun. So the other thing is gonna blow your mind. Did you know if you have a waffle maker, you can do a lot. You cannot make waffles in it. You can actually put shredded veggies right in it and it will cook up like a waffle when you're done, nice and crispy. Make 2 of those, now you have a sandwich. What kind of things? Shred your potatoes like a hash brown. And I oil up the waffle iron so it doesn't stick. A little bit of olive oil or coconut oil, depending on what you're doing. Shredded potatoes work great. Shredded carrots, yum. Shredded zucchini, super yum. I like shredded sweet potatoes. They're great because they have a carb without the high sugar, low glycemic index. These are great options to just toss right in your waffle maker, and just like that, you've got bread that tastes amazing for any sandwich, and you can go savory or sweet, either direction for that. So I love using that. You can even do beets. Beets have a great pop of color. Sometimes I mix them and I will do zucchini and beets, or I'll do a rainbow, and kids love this. I will do a row of zucchini, a row of beets, and a row of sweet potato or carrot, and then it looks like rainbow bread, and they love it. I will add a little bit of flavoring in there in a bowl, so whatever flavor you want. Garlic, onion, I've done a little bit of like dill and cumin. It's a great way to add flavor to a great sandwich bread that's not bread, right? So another idea is pizza crust. What are you gonna do for pizza crust, right? You can do different things like cauliflower rice, which is cauliflower shredded. And if you eat eggs, you can add that in there, press it in the bottom of like a pie pan, and then make your pizza on that and bake it. There's another thing that we sell here, and I love this as an option. This is pumpkin seed crust for pizza, and it has no grains. It's all organic. It actually is vegan, so there's not even dairy or egg for those who need that. And it works great and tastes really good, because the thing people don't know about pumpkin seeds, they'll take on the flavor of whatever you add, so it won't taste like pumpkin seeds. There's another thing that company makes, tortillas. Pumpkin seed tortillas. These actually are bendable and pliable, so you can actually wrap things in and make burritos, tacos, whatever you're doing, quesadillas. These are great. There are also almond flour tortillas out there. You can find cassava flour tortillas, garbanzo bean tortillas. So there are options for tortillas that you can try and play around with. What about crackers? You can do nuts or seeds and actually flavor it, add some veggies in there and bake them. Now you have crackers galore, no grains. I like using flaxseed and chia seed for that, because it can kind of, when you add just a little bit of water, it gets gelatinous and glue-like, and then I don't have to add egg or anything in mine. What about flours if you're really baking or you're breading something? So you can use coconut flour, especially if it's something sweet that you're working on, or you can work with almond flour. Almond flour is a really good option if you're not allergic. It is a really good one. A few other flours you can pop in there would be potato starch, tapioca starch, arrowroot starch, there's cassava flour. So there are a lot of options that you can play with for breading things or for baking with that work really well. What about pasta? Well, there are actually grain-free pastas that are made from vegetables out there. There are also grain-free pastas made out of beans. Lentils make amazing pastas. I love working with that. But you can also make your own pastas. I'm gonna show you with a zoodler. There's lots of different types of zoodlers out there. I like mine that's stainless steel because plastic parts break. This one doesn't break, and it's great. But you basically chop the end off and you stick your zucchini, your beet, your fat carrots, butternut squash, whatever it is you want in there, and you just move it and it will literally spit out something that looks like long noodles. All you have to do is a very fast 3 to 5 minute like steam, and they're ready to go. Or dip them in boiling water, very short time, 3 minutes. They're ready, and you can even use them raw. So there's a great way to do raw pastas that way. So lots of ways you can do pastas that way too. You know, there are grain-free chips out there. This chip in particular uses cactus, with cassava flour. So lots of options for going grain-free out there. You just have to get creative, have fun, play with your food, and you can do it. So what you do is you build your yes list of how can I go grain-free for 90 days, give the gut a rest, do a reset on the body, reduce your inflammation and your blood sugars, and see how you feel. Because remember what I always say, natural healing is totally doable.